What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NFL DFS Preview Show. It's week 11 of the NFL season here, Howard. The regular season winding down. Fantasy football playoffs for seasonal players are nearing, but if you're out of your fantasy football playoffs contention, there's Howard and I are here to help you make some money, maybe make that entry fee back, win some money. Plus, in the DFS streets here, 11 games on DraftKings, 12 games over on FanDuel, where I know Bender likes to play with that Sunday night football game. A good Sunday night football game this week as well, Cincinnati versus the Chargers. I'm sure we'll talk some of that as well as we move along here. Mr. Bender, how are we doing?
We're doing okay. We're getting back into the swing of things here. I'm still stunned that it's week 11 already. So I just want to make some money, dude. That's all. I just want to make some money. So let's just hop right to it. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, give me a follow on socials, give John a follow on socials. Let's just effing do it right now, man. Yep. I mean, this is what it all comes down to. Let's go.
All right, quarterback position. We go position by position. For those of you who are new to the show, hit that like, that subscribe, that share button. We certainly appreciate all of you tuning in here. Quarterback position, your top price QB on this slate, Lamar Jackson, $8,000. You can ignore that questionable tag. He gets that every week. He doesn't really practice often. Josh Allen, $7,800. Jordan Love is $7K. Maybe a little bit of a surprising price tag for him there. Looking at these top three quarterbacks, given their matchups, do you have any hesitations of Lamar Jackson on the road against Pittsburgh this week at $8,000?
I mean, all the numbers right now are pointing towards, how Lamar Jackson struggles against Pittsburgh, and you don't want to get invested in that and whatever. And I totally understand that. To me, where normally I would just lock Lamar in as as a cash game guy, this week I'll say that it's going to be a GPP only for me, for him. The price tag is high. The data of, and the results that we've seen in recent starts against Pittsburgh haven't been great. But I'll say this, John. I'll say this. If everything's coming up Pittsburgh right now, right, and everybody's like chowing down on pierogies and feeling all good about how great Russell Wilson looks, and Mike Williams saying F you to Aaron Rodgers with a touchdown catch, and Steelers are the hottest team in football right now, with all of that going on, and all the talk going on about how crappy the Ravens secondary is and how bad Lamar Jackson does against Pittsburgh, why in the world are the Steelers still a dog by 3 points at home in this one here? So from a betting standpoint, it puts me totally on the Ravens covering a 3-point spread here. I think they are the better team. They are the superior team. I think Pittsburgh's due for a crash. But from a DFS angle, to pay this kind of money for Lamar Jackson, I think I would avoid it. I think I would, spend down a little bit more for, a little less for Josh Allen and utilize him. I'm not interested really in Jordan Love, especially at that price. He's definitely cheaper on FanDuel, but not by like a significant enough margin that I'm locking him down, especially because Chicago's a run funnel defense. It's not even a pass funnel D. So, I'd probably just avoid Jordan Love at this cost.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you want to go Mahomes or Purdy or Cousins, you certainly can. There's merits behind all of those plays, certainly, and the price points make some sense as well. But, as we work our way down into some of this ownership here, Jared Goff against Jacksonville looks really good. I saw he was in your contrarian corner, I think, video it was for this week. Bo Nix has looked good. He's finally connecting with Courtland Sutton. They're making plays. He has mobility. Tua, good matchup against Las Vegas, obviously at home. Tyreek Hill's wrist a bit of a concern, but obviously we know how bad Las Vegas is. And then you have Russell Wilson at $5,900 going up against that Baltimore team, that bad Baltimore pass defense. He's at home, as you said. Another week with Mike Williams going to integrate it in the system. George Pickens is making plays left and right. A lot of people are living in this tier, and a lot of people are going to Russell Wilson.
They are. And I'll tell you what, though. I mean, let's not forget Baltimore added Tre'Davious White. There is Marlon Humphrey still there. Kyle Hamilton, their safety, is now healthy. I just feel like this is, as much as I love what's going on with Pittsburgh, right now. I feel like this is one of those where there's just too much hype and too much buzz that I'm gonna avoid Russell Wilson. I think Jared Goff, I like him because he's contrarian, because everybody just assumes that you're just gonna run all over the Jaguars. But the Jaguars have the 12th best run defense according to DVOA. So you look at their big weakness, and it is through the air, and isn't just the absolute perfect game. Home game for Jared Goff. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's got Jameson Williams is back. Maybe there's no Sammy Laporta because he's already been ruled out, but you got Brock Wright. Jameer Gibbs catches passes. I think that there's a good pathway here for Jared Goff to have himself a very strong effort, and I'm happy to use him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And looking at rostership for this week, Purdy is the guy getting most of the love. At least as of now, there's obviously opportunities to change that. But we have a couple of value quarterbacks that are also getting some ownership here. People are willing to go back to Aaron Rodgers this week after last week's disaster. Home this time, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Vontae Adams was cleared with his illness. We have Garrett Wilson, obviously. And then Drake May, Howard, is actually getting some ownership love on DraftKings as well. Home against the Rams. We know what his rushing upside can be. Is he able to throw enough in this game to sort of pay off the pricing? I guess that's where the questions lie with those two.
Right. Well, that's definitely the issue there as far as Drake May goes. But I mean, listen, the Rams are soft against the pass and against the run as well. So I think that it is a good spot for Drake May if you're looking to pay down there. I think you've got a higher ceiling with Aaron Rodgers potentially gunslinging. Having Garrett Wilson, having Devontae Adams, passes out to Breece Hall. Tyler Conklin's in a great spot. So I would probably tilt a little bit more towards Rodgers just because I do think that this is a fantastic matchup. I also think that Rodgers is going to be more forced into throwing because I think the RPO work between Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor is going to mow down the New York Jets. Their run defense has been horrendous this season. So I feel like that's just going to put Rodgers into that situation where it's more that he has to throw than anything else.
Sure. One guy obviously on the FanDuel slate, not on the DraftKings slate, is Justin Herbert.
Lock him in, baby.
I do agree with your take there. Great value on FanDuel this week. Great matchup for him, home against the Bengals secondary. So if you're over on FanDuel, Herbert at 73, I think you said he was.
Yep.
It's a really, really great price tag for Justin Herbert there. Any other quarterbacks that you're looking at this week?
A little further down. No, I would say because I know that a lot of people are gonna they're gonna take a look at. Some people are gonna give Anthony Richardson a shot. I'm not personally going to do it, but I know some people are potentially looking at that.
Sure.
Who was the guy that I was kind of looking at? Oh, Jameis Winston, maybe. Saints are a bit of a run funnel as opposed to a passing funnel defense. So Jameis Winston, I think he's in a good spot going up against New Orleans and could be a nice little bounce back for him. Maybe a revenge game narrative, if you want to say.
Bye,
What's that? Coming off the bye? Yeah. So I think Winston's actually in a pretty good spot. You pair him up with a guy like Cedric Tillman. I think that works.
Okay. The running back position. There's the highest rostered player on the slate comes from the running back position. That is Audric Estime at $4,500. He's got Atlanta. So keep that in mind as we work our way through here, that about 40% of the field is currently expected to plug in Audric Estime here.
Which is so funny too, because he doesn't catch passes.
Yeah, they like the 10 plus carries, I guess, that they think he's going to pull out of this one. Because after Estime, you look at Christian McCaffrey as your next highest guy, and that correlates, right? You spend all the way up for one, you spend all the way down for the other, and you got Christian McCaffrey at home against Seattle. 13 for 39 against Tampa Bay, not great, but Tampa Bay's run defense is pretty decent. 6 catches, 7 targets, 68 yards, loving that right away. $8,300 for Christian McCaffrey. Is this a plug spot for you?
I mean, you kind of feel like it has to be going up against Seattle. I think it's a great spot for him. I mean, they've got an okay defense. It's not great. It's not terrible. if you think that, that Kyle Shanahan's just like, listen, it's just wheels up here, right? Because we've got Debo and we've got Kittle, Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. It's a good, solid passing game, but our bread and butter is Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, I could definitely see that being the case, but, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
As usual, these top backs, I think you can pretty much play most of them. Derrick Henry always capable of just breaking off of a 60-yard run. Alvin Kamara is going to be just another target monster. Should have had like that 50-yard touchdown last week. Just flat out dropped the wheel route.
Oh, so bad.
Terrible.
He was wide open too.
Oh yeah. Kyron, we know what he's capable of. Bijan off a huge week. Jonathan Taylor against that bad Jets run defense. You can go all the way down. Is there one in particular in this 7K tier that you would look to target?
In your 7K tier? Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, Jonathan Taylor, I said that already. Thank you for making that a little bigger.
I could tell. I could tell that there was some squints going on there.
Yeah, so I like the bottom end of that, right? Achane going up against the Raiders. I think that's great. I mean, his numbers with Tua under center really just, they don't lie.
Yeah.
And Josh Jacobs, I think, going up against the Bears, which is a run funnel defense. I think that's a nice spot as well.
Sure. And I agree with you. I think really Gibbs, Achane, the two guys that I would be looking to go. Jacobs certainly fine. That team coming off their bye as well. Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco officially ruled out. Buffalo, really bad run defense here. $6,700 for him. Swift and Montgomery are in this range. I didn't really find much of the running back position that I was in love with in the mid-range. I did play a lot of Nick Chubb in some early lineup builds, and I saw that he also made your value video, or contrarian video or value videos?
Value video here. Yeah. Because I think, I mean, you look at the cost there, and I mean, Nick Chubb, over in FanDuel is like, I want to say he's like 62. Yeah, he's 6,200 on FanDuel. I mean, the Saints have the 27th ranked DVOA run defense. All right. They're just, you're looking at a team that can live off of the power run. And now that we've watched Chubb come back for a couple of games at least, right? Nothing huge, but a couple of games. I think they're ready to unleash him a little bit more there and just kind of open things up for Jameis Winston.
Sure. I like it. Nick Chubb over under rush attempts is set at 14.5 this week. His yards are set at 63.5. So
I'll take the over on those yards for sure.
I like the over on the rushing attempts at 14.5. He's gone over in each of the last 2 weeks. So
I would like to say that, but again, Nick Chubb could probably rush for 100 yards on 12 carries.
Sure.
Against this Saints defense, and then Winston just starts chucking the football, and they're up by a billion. Sure. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, it's Dearness Johnson time.
Yeah, we'll see. Value running backs, like I said, not much down here until you get down to Estime. You could maybe throw a dot at Tajay Spears, who came back last week. Was fine, 7 for 47, had 3 catches. He's going to kind of be
in and Minnesota out. Run D is solid. I don't necessarily know if I want to dig that deep for him.
I like more so his pass game involvement there. He had the 3 catches. But then again, estimates $4,500. He had 14 for 53. They said they were going to use him more. They did use him more. 3.8 yards per carry, not great, but if this is what they're doing, this is what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, for that kind of, 5,400 on FanDuel, it definitely opens things up tremendously.
Yep. Wide receivers. Juwan Jennings got hurt at practice, right? Yesterday?
Did he?
I guess he was present today. So he was hurt yesterday, present today. So I guess that's good. I guess he'll be back. Let's say Pearsall was shaping up pretty good there. Jefferson, St. Brown, you get the Rams wide receivers up here. I think Pickens is where a lot of roster going to go this week because, again, everybody's just kind of keying in on that Steelers passing offense. Could see Pickens of this group maybe being the higher of the roster group.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a great play here against the Jaguars. I'm not going to trust Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to pay up the $8,600 for him. Over there, he's $9,000 over on FanDuel. When Sam Darnold's got he's had an injury. He's off the injury report and he's good to go, but he's had a problem with his throwing hand. So considering the way that he's crapped the bed the last couple of games and he's turning the ball over, I'm going to avoid Jefferson altogether here. So I think Amon-Ra is in a great spot. The real question, it's kind of funny. I guess I would favor Cooper Kupp over Puka Nacua since Kupp does more work out of the slot.
Yeah.
And that'll put Nacua and Christian Gonzalez on opposite sides of each other.
Right.
So I would kind of tilt it that way. I'm not interested in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not interested in him. I mean, Devontae Adams versus Garrett Wilson. I mean, I guess the real question is like, who's the number one? Who's the number two? Like, who's the guy that, who's going to be, favored? Because we've seen them both, in the last couple of weeks, each one of them has been, the target leader at some point.
Yeah. I still lean Garrett Wilson, I think, over Adams there, if I had to pick one.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I'm definitely fine with that. Yeah. Pickens looks good. Debo, I think, is in a great spot. He had a phenomenal game a couple of weeks ago against Seattle.
Yep.
So, if we look to the possibility of him resurrecting that, Darnell Mooney was taken off of the injury report, which is definitely encouraging, but he showed up late on Thursday with an Achilles issue.
Yeah.
So I worry about, Drake London dealing with Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and even, Coop pointed this out the other day also, is that Surtain, if he's starting to get beat, he'll just take the penalty.
Yeah.
He'll tackle the dude and, and that'll be it. But, so I worry about that with Drake London. So does that open things up more for Darnell Mooney now that he's off the injury report? I think you always have to be interested in him. And, give me DK Metcalf.
So Metcalf's off the injured list. You got him at 65, good price tag. Who gets the Jalen Johnson coverage? Is it going to be Reed? Is it going to be Watson? Like, who's the guy that's going to deal with that?
I mean, I think you're probably dealing with Dobbs and Watson getting the most of it. I mean, Jaden Reed, it's like he's moved around all over the field. It's a lot of gimmick stuff with him. It's not just straight wide receiver work for Jaden Reed. I think he's in a really good spot here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm just not overwhelmed. Like the Packer that I like the most this week is Josh Jacobs.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Get Shakir. Looks like Amari Cooper is going to play this week. Calvin Ridley continues to be really good. For $6,200 gets Minnesota here, would you keep going back to this Titans passing offense?
I mean, it's a tough one not to want to do. 32 targets in his last 3 games. It's been fantastic for Ridley since they traded away Hopkins. But you are dealing with Stephon Gilmore and Shaq Griffin on the outside. So the coverage is definitely tighter. And there really isn't anybody else on this Tennessee team to draw coverage away. That's my concern here, just against a stronger pass defense like the Vikings.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously has fared well the last couple of weeks. He had Christian Gonzalez. He had Asante Samuel Jr. right last week as well on him. So back-breaking touchdown against me at the end of that week as well. Cost me like $4,000. Working our way down the list. Got Waddle, Sutton's 59, Jameson Williams 58. We know some home
Would you dabble in with the squeaky wheel gets the grease narrative with DJ Moore at all?
No, I don't believe in the reports and the rumors of Bajent and all that stuff. I'm good.
Not that Bajent's going to play, but that they were saying that they didn't want Williams under center.
I'd rather. There's better spots. I think we could go here. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but not for me.
Cole Kmet.
Yeah, we'll talk tight ends. I think D-Hop's still fine at $5,700. I like Jacoby Myers. That guy keeps getting boatloads of targets.
Thankfully, Gardner Minshew under center.
Yeah, I mean, but like him and Bowers just aren't really getting affected no matter who the quarterback is, really, because they're both the same equally as not good quarterbacks. So, but I do like all the target volume Jacoby Myers continues to get. There is dubs. Then you hit the Cleveland guys. I don't know why Tillman is still 5,300. Guy's gone for 18, 28, and 19 the last 3 weeks. The targets are out of this world. Touchdowns, catches, yards. Like, what are we doing? Why is he still 5,300? Did they forget he was on a bye and they just didn't adjust his salary? Like, what's going on here?
I have no idea. I found it incredibly odd as well. Locked him in. I was like, absolutely. Why wouldn't I use him? The question that I've gotten from season-long people constantly now is Cedric Tillman versus CD Lamb. Who do you pick out of those two?
Oh, well, I mean, it's probably Tillman still, but I mean, on a week-to-week matchup basis, like this week, I'd probably go Tillman. You have Judy here too. Also, a lot of targets, productive. Jameis has thrown over 40 times in each of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's what Jameis Winston does. He just goes back there, he throws until his shoulder hurts. So I'm good with either wide receiver. Anybody else down here in this range? And again, Ricky Pearsall's $4,900. Even with Juwan Jennings, Pearsall is still seemingly getting some run here.
Yeah, I think Pearsall's a good guy to have there. He handles the outside work while Jennings takes on the slot. I think that's a totally fine spot to do. Pull off Pearsall so I can see who else, because I've got my FanDuel window open here as opposed to
sure.
No to Addison, no to those guys, and not until I see them open up Deontay Johnson's route tree a little bit more will I ever get invested in that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that Juju Smith-Schuster had a really good week of practice, but that doesn't really turn me on. I will say no to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Stop telling me that he's the new Rashid Shaheed.
Why?
Because he still sucks, dude. He's still bad. He doesn't have the speed that Shaheed has. He doesn't have the hands that Shaheed has.
He caught all three. He's caught all 4 passes thrown to him since becoming a Saint.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you want to. That's the sample size you want to hang your hat on.
Listen, all I'm saying is that if he was still under 4K, I would have interest. But he's 4,400
now. He's your guy. Oh crap! We're gonna see him in the dartboard.
He was in the dartboard last week. He'll probably be in the dartboard again this week.
Of course, he was in the dartboard last week. I tweeted out that he was in the dartboard last week.
I know.
Celebrating your guys' victories. See, that's what I do these days.
Nothing.
You want a deep sleeper here? Give me Malik Washington out of Miami.
Where is he? 3K? Yeah.
There he is.
He just had the end around touchdown though.
Oh, I know. But with Tyreek Hill banged up and stuff like that, I mean, again, it's just the opportunities are opening up a little bit more for him.
Where's Booty at? That's what we want.
Keishan Boutte.
3,500. My computer's freezing, so it's not actually close.
6 targets in each of the last 3 games.
Yep. And last week, the report came out the Patriots are going to start making an effort to play their younger players.
Mazel tov.
Which is why Kendrick Bourne did not see the field. So if Boutte is now your number 1 potential wide receiver in New England, he and Drake May have made some plays. What I love is these long catches, right? 40, 33, 34, 23. Yeah. You get a guy at 3K that could go catch a 30-yard pass, boom, 4 points, right? He's already basically paying off the price tag for you. So, yeah, I'm with you. You hope, obviously, that they would eventually start scoring more touchdowns. That may not come, but if at 3K you can get a guy that can give you 8 to 10 fantasy points, I think there's some merit to that here. Westbrook-Ikhini's touchdown run came to an end. But he is their number 2 wide receiver in Tennessee. If you've talked about guys that could have some value, you did have 4 straight weeks with a touchdown for Westbrook.
What about any thoughts on Alec Pierce? That's the guy who Richardson just chucks the ball all the way downfield for.
Yeah, not at 5,400.
Not at 5,400.
I don't really trust the Richardson in this spot to throw the football.
I don't trust him either. I was just Gotta ask, gotta pull these names out there.
Right. Tight end. Kind of sucks because this was setting up to be the Dalton Kincaid week.
Yep. And now it's not.
Do you go Dawson Knox this week?
I'm not. Listen, I tell you what, in all honesty, because you look at the numbers that KC's given up as far as tight ends go, a lot of big fluky plays to early tight ends is really what's kind of skewed this. And the Chiefs' DVOA against the tight end has improved steadily over time. So I'll say this. Dalton Kincaid wasn't really lighting it up for the Bills all that much either. Why do we think suddenly that Dawson Knox is going to come back and he's going to be the guy?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You're the tight end guy.
I'd rather go Brock Wright than go Dawson Knox. How about that?
Here's what sucks. Is that these guys aren't cheap. He's 35, Wright's 33 because DraftKings knew that the tight ends were injured.
Yeah.
If he was $2,300, I'd be like, yeah, or $2,500 like he's been, sure. Throw me some Brock Wright. But there's just like you've put Tyler Conklin in a lot of content this week. I know targets haven't been there lately, and we know Aaron Rodgers' love-hate relationship with the tight end, but at least we see him getting looks at times. Like,
yep. Oh, I hear you.
There just isn't that value tight end this week that is kind of drawing my attention. I liked the Jonnu Smith call you made.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jonnu is perfectly
well,
fine.
If you're on FanDuel there, Johnny boy, then maybe you get into the little Will Dissly.
Okay.
Right? Here's a guy who's top 5 in targets per route run. Right? You're talking about a guy who's going up against Bengals defense that gives up like the third most fantasy points per game or fifth most fantasy points per game to the tight end. Like 63 yards on average to him. So like Will Dissly, and he's priced down. He's only $5K over on FanDuel. That's below Jonnu Smith, below Dawson Knox. It's even with Tyler Conklin. So I feel like Will Dissly might be if you're just paying down, just saying, screw it, I'm going to chase a touchdown here. Because, I mean, isn't that really what we're doing? If you're not going to chase a touchdown and you want to go for high volume targets, then you have to pay up for Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to, then what are you going to do? You want to chase a touchdown from Pat Freiermuth? You want to chase a touchdown from AJ Barner?
What do we do with Davis Allen here? 6 targets, 5 catches, 34 yards last week. Starting to play more than Colby Parkinson. It's $2,500 min price tight end.
Yeah, I mean you can. I mean, if you're punting, I don't know how does New England rank against the tight end.
Well, if Duggar is out again,
I haven't seen whether or not Duggar is out or not.
Because Duggar's their tight end cover guy,
and,
right?
Kyle Duggar, questionable, limited practice on Friday.
Something to watch for here.
Definitely something to watch for. I mean, because that's the thing. I've said it before. When you're talking the tight ends, you can either punt this sucker away, or just go with the chalk. Go like who's the most owned? Who's the highest owned tight end projected?
Travis Kelce.
Kelce is.
Yep.
So that's what you're doing. You're either going to eat that chalk, or you're going to just pay nothing.
80% of the offensive snaps last week for Davis Allen, so it is his job at min price. It's not terrible. He'll be on the dartboard for sure. Defense, close this baby out here. Where do we want to go with defense? I thought Cleveland against the Saints at 2,600 felt like an okay spot. Again, Browns just coming off of their bye. New Orleans really only has Alvin Kamara. So didn't really hate going with Cleveland as a punt play here. I think the Jets now are kind of interesting. I know you talked Jonathan Taylor, but like Anthony Richardson cannot throw a football.
No, he cannot.
So 2,800 Jets at home. It could be cold this weekend in New York too, a little chilly.
Yeah, that's definitely got some possibilities as well. It's kind of funny. I mean, I don't really love a lot of the matchups. You could go Packers going up against Chicago if you don't believe in the quick fix over there.
Yeah,
I think that's a possibility. I don't really love the defensive matchups here. I like your Cleveland against New Orleans call, but I don't really. I mean, who else are you going to go with?
The quarterback, they don't really get any interceptions. They only have 1 on the year, but like sacks are decent.
Yeah, I need some turnovers. Need some more turnovers. Who's lighting it up with the turnovers right now? Let's see.
Honestly,
who's leading the league in takeaways? The Vikings.
Minnesota versus Tennessee.
Oh, there you go.
Second highest price defense, though. Would you rather Minnesota on the road or Detroit at home against McCorkle?
Ooh. I think Detroit at home against McCorkle.
Yeah, I think that's where we're probably going to end up going. And I think that's where many people are going to end up going as well. I got excited. I sent you the message like, ooh, I played the 4,400 Mac Jones. He got a rushing touchdown right away. Little QB sneak. We're off and running. And that was literally, he lost points basically for the rest of the
game. He didn't do anything.
Basically did not do anything. Highest roster defense this week, Howard, is actually the other side of that Minnesota-Tennessee game, Titans currently the highest projected. $2,300 for Tennessee.
I like that. I mean, listen, I don't think that, if Darnold's having some struggles here, I like that pay down.
I don't like that they've had 0 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 weeks, but like you said,
again, it's a punt play.
So that's where we're at. Let's build here.
Let's build.
Are we just plugging Estime in for the value running back? Maybe put him in a flex or something.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm building my mine on FanDuel right now as we speak. I'm building it right now on FanDuel as we speak, and I'm like, all right, kind of trying to figure it out here. I'll tell you what, man, that's what I love about FanDuel so much is the added flexibility that you get, like from some of the pricing on some of these guys here.
Yeah.
It's like crazy good. Now, the question is which direction do I want to go? Because I don't want to go too cheap with some of these guys. Like, where do I want to go? Do I want to go with Juwan Jennings? I don't really want to go Jacoby Myers here on FanDuel because it's half-point PPR.
Sure.
Do I like Jameson Williams? Do I like Ridley? Do I like Hopkins? Stop me if you... What about T. Higgins? Should I welcome back T. Higgins?
Could go T. Higgins there. I don't have anything coming back. Do we need things coming back? We always talk about this. It's like Bateman. What's Bateman's price tag? Bateman is 46. Would you feel better about Bateman over Estime here?
Would I feel better about Bateman over Estime? In a full point PPR?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Does Bateman really get a whole lot of work?
He had 8 targets last week, 54 in a score.
All right, here you go. You ready for this one here? Let me just let me bang this one out to you. Just because this is FanDuel only, right? Because you can't do it over here on DraftKings. I got Justin Herbert. I got Jonathan Taylor. I got Audric Estime. I got T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, and Cedric Tillman.
Okay.
As my wideouts. I've got Will Dissly as my tight end. The Titans defense. And that gives me, enough that I could go Christian McCaffrey into my flex if I wanted to.
I like it.
Now, the question is, I could skip McCaffrey, obviously, because I like, on FanDuel, I like using the running back in the flex.
Sure.
But I've got McCaffrey available to me. Who else? Who would be your next favorite pay down from McCaffrey? Just think about that. Who's the guy that you like?
At running back from McCaffrey?
Yeah. The most. Don't say Jonathan Taylor because I've already got him in there. Because I just want to explore what this does for my wide receiver core if I skip out on McCaffrey.
Probably Achane.
Go Achane?
They didn't give Mostert any carries last week.
I know. Mike McDaniel said that was part of the game plan.
I would have loved to know that before I put him in my lineup.
Oh, shenanigans. So that gives me, oh my lordy. Where do I want to go with this?
I got Wilson, McCaffrey, Chubb, Pickens, Booty, St. Brown, Allen, Bateman, and Lions defense.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot. I do. What if I did this? Hang on. Hold the phone, cracker. 7,100 available. How about this? Herbert, Taylor, Estime, Garrett Wilson, Cedric Tillman, T. Higgins, Dissly, Achane, and the Titans D.
Okay.
You're just having a hard time envisioning that? What do you mean?
A little bit, but I like it. I get it.
Do you want me to share my screen with you? I could share my screen with you.
Sure, if you want to.
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want you to see all the other windows I have open right now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right. Sorry, I'm being distracted by a Bob Nightingale tweet about the Orioles moving in their fences. More offense or fantasy baseball. Anyways, this is the lineup that I have for DraftKings. $400 left over. I'm going Bateman over Estime. Screw it. Big play guy. You know I like him. Okay. Wilson, McCaffrey, Chubb, Pickens, Booty, St. Brown, Allen, Bateman, and the Lions D. $400 left over. You got Bender's lineup for FanDuel. Playbook will be out. You'll have the dartboard. You'll have your example lineups on Sunday. Myself and Andrew Cooper. 11 to 12, Bender 10 to 11 with Coop over on Sirius XM. We'll get you guys ready for NFL DFS Week 11. Catch you then. Good luck then. Catch you later.